20 people's worth of penis cheese locked in his penis.
Don't have sex, don't have sex, don't have sex, don't have sex. Why haven't you had sex yet?
Here's syphilis, and it was like, oh God,
No.
I admire the confidence.
As soon as he said that, I was like, okay, so this is a thing about him being a horrible person.
So, you know what's coming. So,
Why are we judging people so much?
Yeah.
you're going to get a yeast infection.
Literally.
And that is going to hurt.
That's niche.
I was going to say a groomed puss.
Like, this is too personal, but I literally don't care. So,
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of TBH the podcast. This is episode 11, am I right?
10, it's 10.
10.
Yeah,
Episode 10.
We get it wrong every week.
See, I get it wrong every week because I don't check. Of season 2 of TBH. This week we have a special guest. There is 4 of us this week. So, Lucy, would you like to introduce yourself?
yeah, I just went like, yee, like I just grinned. I'm not going to say anything, I'll just sit here. Yeah, I'm Lucy. I am a sexual health discussion-y type person. That's why I'm here.
I wish that was your job title.
Yeah.
Sexual health discussion-y
imagine.
person.
Yeah, I'm the sexual health lead at Lincoln Students' Union. That's my technical title.
Lovely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you need to know anything, Lucy's your girl.
Lucy's
Hit me up. I'm not a doctor, I have to say that to everybody. Because
Yeah.
people come to me and ask me questions and I'm like, I'm not a medical professional, but like, this is what I know.
Oh God. Do people like
That's really
ask you
intense.
to like diagnose them with stuff? Like
Yeah,
oh this
like I've spoken to people that like, oh, this is like a problem I'm having. And I'm like, okay, like I know a bit about that, fine, like I can talk to you about it, but please see a doctor. Like
Yeah,
I had
don't rely on it.
I had someone say to me, they were like really nice person, like they messaged the account a few times and they're always really like respectful and all this kind of stuff. But I've had some very niche questions, like about like how to make your semen taste better, that kind of stuff. Which like, great. I'm really happy that you are comfortable to come to me with that information, like really happy, but I don't know.
That's niche.
Yeah,
Wow.
and like I say,
What a
very nice
bold
guy,
thing to
like,
ask.
yeah,
Like-
I mean,
I admire the
Privilege.
confidence.
yeah, so
admire
do
the
I. I'm
confidence,
honestly,
yeah.
he was very, like, he was very kind of medical about it. He was like, so this is my problem, and like laid it out step by step and was like, how can I resolve this? And I was like, okay,
What was the problem?
right.
The problem was it didn't taste
semen
nice.
tastes bad. That's the problem, Darcy.
I was just
Yeah,
like,
but,
your
like-
diet.
How bad is bad?
Well, I didn't get into that. I was just kind of, because
Oh,
he'd
no,
asked me a
it's-
few
Does that mean
questions.
he's had like feedback? As in like,
Or has
ew.
he tried it? Like,
Well, so, because he, like I say, he messaged me a few times and he talked about other stuff, like communication and stuff with his girlfriend. And, I mean, a lot of the time, I'm kind of like, speak to your girlfriend about it, because the more you communicate, like, the better it'll be, all this kind of stuff. But here's my 2 pence, seeing as you asked.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that day, he just woke up and was like, I'm going to ask.
I'm
Wow.
choosing.
Brilliant. What a great introduction.
That's so
Lucy.
funny. Wow.
So that's the
We're
sort of
straight in.
stuff Lucy gets up to.
Amazing.
That's Lucy's job. Oh.
Okay.
So
Fair
how
enough.
did you get into that? How did you get into it? What made you want to apply? What made you want to do it?
So, it's like a new role this year, so it didn't exist any other years. And I think everyone at the uni got an email from the Students' Union being like, these are new jobs in the... So obviously there's all the like VPs and stuff, and the VP Wellbeing set up, it's called the Wellbeing Network, so I am one of 4. So there's physical health, sexual health, mental health, and a community officer. so the community officer existed before, but they've added these physical, mental, sexual health people. And they just interviewed for them. So I was like, do you know what? I like talking about it. I was always that person at parties that was like, you know, when you play drinking games, it's like, who's got a vibrator? And I was like, woo! Like, I was always that person asking all those like really intrusive questions, because I think, especially like with my mates, I have really good mates that I talk about that kind of stuff with, and I was like, oh, I'd love to just be able to do that with people at the uni. So, and then I interviewed for it, and they wanted me to do it, so here I am.
That's really
Fair
cool.
enough.
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
I like that.
I feel like I'm
I
kind of
like
like
that
that
they've
too.
made that. Yeah, I was gonna say
That
all
was
three
my
of us are just
motivation.
Like, yeah.
I have no shame, honestly. I'll talk about anything. So I was like, do you know what? We'll go for that one.
I like it.
Yes. I
That's
appreciate
fair.
that.
Yeah. Well, this week we kind of wanted to go with that theme, and kind of talk about sexual health myths, things that people think are true, or things that you hear and you're like, I'm not sure about that. And kind of, some of them are funny, some of them are a bit more serious.
Yeah.
Just delve into all those sorts of things. So I think Darcy has a
Exciting.
list of some myths
Yeah, I
that we can
do.
have a chat about.
This one I thought was particularly prominent in like high school, secondary school. So the whole like popping of the cherry, like chat that everyone used
Yeah.
to have. You know, like,
Mhm.
have you popped your cherry yet?
Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have, so like, people with vaginas have hymens, but it's just like a little bit of skin. But some people, I think not everybody even has one, and most people, like, it wears away if you do loads of exercise. Like, even if you've
Yeah.
never had sex, it can like disappear. If you run a lot, like play loads of sport, it can just kind of disappear. But I know there's like even like different parts of the world, people can pay to have like their daughter's hymens like checked and that kind of stuff to
I've
make
heard
sure
about
that
that.
they've never had sex. And then, but obviously that doesn't, obviously firstly that is a complete invasion of like that person's human rights. But
Privacy.
also you know, you might not have one and you've still never had
Yeah.
sex, but then people pay these doctors to check their like teenagers' hymens. It's just it's
That's
madness.
so weird. I think we
Honestly.
mentioned that, like, when we were planning this, we were like, isn't that a thing that people do? And that's like, that's so mad. That's so weird. Why would you want to do
Yeah.
that?
So
That's
weird.
Honestly.
Not fun.
That's really
And
weird.
even then,
Yeah.
it's that discussion
Gross.
of like, you don't even have to have had sex for it to like not be intact or not be there or whatever.
Well, I think
So-
there's like surgeries that can create them. So like in that same context, like people will have them checked and they won't be there, and you can have them like reconstructed so that when you have sex for the first time, there's like a popping. Yeah, isn't it mad? It's honestly unbelievable.
So
Oh my
strange.
god,
Don't
what the
like it.
hell?
don't like that.
I
at
think
all.
it even
that's the
happens like in America and stuff. Like they're trying to make it illegal in different states.
What the heck?
That's crazy.
I think I said it to you girls the other week that I don't know if it was just my school, but there was always that one girl that like do you know like that girl that thought she was like the popular girl? Do you know like there was just that girl, she was just there. And there was always, or didn't have to be, but there was always that one person that would be like, yeah, I definitely popped my cherry. I was riding my horse. And it's like, how do you know? How do you know that was what it was? Please tell
Yeah.
me.
Because it could have been, but how do you know?
Yeah, but how do you know? Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just like, you don't need to bring the popping of the cherry into it. I just think
Yeah,
it's so odd.
it is just a bit of a weird like. Yeah, it's very odd, very strange.
It's a weird concept that everyone like at school seemed to be like a talking point, and I'm like, but like, why?
Yeah.
I don't know
Like
if I
that
had this, you know.
specifically.
Did
Do you not?
No, I don't think so. Like,
Oh.
obviously I've heard it as a term, but I don't think that was like a thing at my It's cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
it was
ours
definitely a thing at my school.
Yeah, mine was as well. It was just like it was like a huge discussion point for no reason. It didn't.
No
Very
way.
weird vibes.
I don't know. I think it was just. Oh, you go.
No, so I was just going to say, people are so like, have you lost your virginity yet? Have you lost your... And that's like a physical way of being like, oh, well, I have.
That's
It's
the
like,
defining.
Yeah, but like,
You can
who
check.
cares?
Yeah.
Who
Why are we
cares?
talking about it?
Yeah, like, I don't...
That was always a thing
So
though at school.
weird.
I feel when there was pressure to like have had sex when you were like 14. What was that?
Yeah.
What was
What was
that?
Yeah, what was
Yeah.
that?
Not on
That
board.
was weird.
Well, I had this conversation the other day. I did like a thing with the society, and we were all talking about like sex ed and all this kind of stuff. And we were talking about this, and it was always like, don't have sex, don't have sex, don't have sex, don't have sex. Why haven't you had sex yet?
Yeah.
And I was like, where does that switch and why?
Yeah.
Like, it's because all sex education was don't have sex, and if you do have sex, don't get pregnant, because like that's the end of the world. And there was nothing really else about it. And then it was always really wrong to have sex, and then it gets to a point in your life where it just swaps, and it's like, that's so embarrassing that you've never had sex.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
like,
and I'm like, what is that?
how does that happen?
I think
Yeah.
I don't know.
'Cause
No, go on.
No, I was just going to say, in school, like you were saying about sex ed, like ours was literally, don't have sex, here's some really gross pictures of some like extreme STDs. Here's a
Oh my
condom,
God.
don't do it. Like horrible photos. I don't
Really,
oh.
I remember that as well. I remember sitting and it was
Horrific.
like on my whole like form, we were like all sat together in like a life skills lesson, and they'd put them up on the projector, just these horrendous
Yeah.
like, here's syphilis, and it was like, oh god,
really horrible.
it was really not nice, really not
And they'd
nice.
be like, it'd be like a bit green, and you'd be like,
Oh my god.
yeah,
Well, I
think
like
we not
really
have that.
extreme, really extreme.
Yeah,
Not
Like
just
it's never
like,
been treated.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like
But I
people
just
who've
remem-
lived with it for like 20 years and like, here's
Yeah.
the end result. Like, not like
yeah.
the reality of it's okay, you're not going to die.
Yeah.
But I think
Take
that's
these
the thing, isn't it?
antibiotics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it is. I feel like everybody, you know, they always made it into a big thing, like it will be the end of the world if you get an STI or an STD or whatever. And it's like, actually, they're quite treatable now. If you go and get tested,
Yeah.
it's fine.
We're not
They'll
saying
sort
go
it
and
out.
get one.
No.
We're not
Obviously
saying go and
avoid
get one.
it.
No,
but
no.
Be
they are
safe, kids.
treatable. Most
But
of
it's
them.
not like nothing's going to go green and
It's not
fall
the end
off.
of the world.
Like,
No.
well, hopefully not. Anyway,
hopefully not.
if it did, that'd be really bad.
Yeah, that's like late
unfortunate.
stages.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Um,
Yeah, but yeah, the whole virginity thing's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Moving on to something that's kind of a bit similar. I feel like most of these are to do with girls, but like we're four girls here, so it's fine. So it's not an orgasm if it's not vaginal.
Oh god.
She's just so wrong.
Yeah.
Like-
majorly.
That was the sort of stuff that like would get thrown around at school when you had no idea. It was
Yeah.
the like,
Yeah.
oh, what sex? Sex is man into a vagina.
That's
Action.
it. Yeah.
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 It wasn't the beginning bit. It wasn't the like lead up. It was just that equals that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
And it
Just
was
in
always for the
case you
purpose
were-
of having a baby.
Yeah.
yeah,
There's no, and it's also always like heterosexual couples. Like,
Yeah,
there's
that's
no
what I
other
mean.
way. Yeah, madness.
man into a woman.
Yeah,
Just so you're aware, if you were misinformed, you can have orgasms in other ways.
Hmm.
It's not just vaginal.
Imagine if one of us was like, "Whoa!"
Can you?
But that's another
Like,
thing as well. Like,
what?
sex ed just doesn't cover that.
No.
No.
Like, I didn't know what an orgasm was
No.
until
Not
like
properly.
probably older than I should have been.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
Like,
didn't know women could. I thought it was just men for a really long time.
Oh, yeah,
while
me
I was still in
too.
school, but like I just because nobody ever spoke about it. They were like, the man comes to orgasm, and then that was it. And that was like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
never like the lady never gets anything out of it, or like, you know,
The lady.
Apart from the
lady.
child.
Why I said that. But do you know what I mean? And then that paired with like,
Yeah.
you know, only heterosexual couples. So then it just sort of makes it feel like this is a big thing. I've got a lot of things to say about this. I feel like in terms of like sex being advertised as just so you can reproduce, that really alienates like a lot of people who, you know, are perhaps in couples where you can't reproduce. But that doesn't mean you can't have like do you know what I mean? It's a big issue.
So
it's a
much
big
more than
LGBT
that.
issue. It's so much bigger than
Yeah.
just like sex ed in schools, but you know, you guys know what I'm trying to say.
And even like pleasure oriented, like even for heterosexual couples, there was no mention that like it's a pleasurable thing to do. It's just
Yeah.
because like obviously you were saying like, oh, the man comes to orgasm and that's kind of it. But even that in itself wasn't like, this is what an orgasm is and this is like why you might want to do that. It's just that's how you get sperm so that then you can have a baby. Like it's very procedural, which is just like, it's insane because why do you want to terrify kids like that? Like you're just fear-mongering
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And then they'll just be really unsafe because they're going to do it anyway.
yeah,
So
and surprise,
just-
surprise, most sex isn't to have a baby.
Yeah, most of the time.
Shockingly.
99% of the time it is not for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I've just we had this whole discussion in a previous episode, but I just feel like, yeah, sex ed in schools really is something that needs to be stepped.
Doesn't cut
It
it.
is so bad.
Well, I think it has.
truly
Well,
awful.
we've spoken about this before. I think it has stepped up from when we were at school, but I do think it still has a long way to go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
100%.
Because I've said this before, but my sister came home and she was like, guess what I learned about today? And I was like, what? And she was like, midnight dreams. I was like, what the hell's a midnight dream?
Dreams!
And then my mum was like, I think she means wet dreams. But like, I never learned about that at school.
No, I don't think I did.
So
I
yeah,
didn't
that's
have any sex ed
they
in
learn
primary
about now.
school at all. None.
We were meant to have one and the nurse was ill and they never rescheduled it and that was it. Like I've never had formal sex education in my life
See,
ever.
we had this discussion before.
Ever.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you not teach
Yeah.
kids about that? What? So
And
just
why is it
never
literally
only
be
one
done again?
lesson?
That's madness.
Yeah, one lesson, one afternoon where you're meant to learn about everything. And none of it was like relationships either. There's no way to have safe relationships. Even just with
No.
people that, like not even people you're having sex with, just like, there's a page I follow, I think it's an American woman, but she does like sex ed with families, like young families, and they do work like about, oh, if your child doesn't want to hug somebody, don't make them hug them because you're starting them it doesn't even have to be about sex, because obviously people kick off about we shouldn't teach really young children about sex, da, 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 but it doesn't even have to be about that. Like it just
No.
is, you like, this is your body and if you don't want to hug somebody then you don't have to, but da, 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 and like not just accepting that adults are always right and adults always have the right to, you know, your personal space and all that kind of stuff. Like it doesn't even have to be about sex, but
Yeah.
they just are so focused on like, no, we have to protect them from sex. And I'm like,
Yeah.
do you know how they got here? Like
Yeah.
you've had this kid
Yeah.
for a reason.
I think that's a really interesting point because I never really like thought of it like that. We sort of, you know, discussed it from a different, not a sexual perspective, but like telling girls that boys are mean to them because they like them, like that kind of thing.
Yes.
It's on the same kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
why
he's
is
only
legacy
nasty to you
chase
because he
ever a
fancies
thing?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you say that to young kids as well, but then you won't teach them about sex, but you'll teach them that, firstly, that somebody fancies them, but then also, like, that they can treat them badly, and that's why.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And it's a good thing because it means he likes you.
Yeah,
Like,
you should be,
No.
yeah, you
You should be grateful.
Oh, it's like when women get bloody catcalled, and it's like, oh, but you should take it as a
It's a
compliment.
compliment. No, it's
Ugh.
not.
No,
Disgusting.
It's sexual
Truly
harassment,
disgusting.
and I find it gross.
not a
But, like,
compliment.
Why was boy, do you know? I don't know if it was my school that just played this, but like there was a game and it was like kissy chase, and the boys would chase after the girls, and you wouldn't be able to stop unless they kissed you.
I remember that.
How weird.
We played that. Yeah.
It was very odd.
Yeah,
I think
that
as
is
well,
weird.
Like
Very odd.
Did you ever have? I don't know about you guys. I was in a very small primary school, and I remember it was me and like another lad in my year, and it was sort of like, this can sound so stupid, but like everybody was like shipping us together or whatever. I remember being like 9 at the time, and the teachers would be like, "Oh, Raya and what's his face," and it would just be a bit like. I remember it being
really
weird, and I was like, "Why?"
Yeah. At our year 6 disco, we played, like spin the bottle. We played spin the plate.
What?
At a year 6 disco that was run by teachers.
That's really weird, Eve.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Really weird.
You were in a cult. I hate to tell you.
You didn't have to do anything, but they'd be like, or just like hug or something. You'd be like, no.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
I literally remember it was like the William and Kate wedding in like, I can't remember when that was. It was like early.
I think we were in
2010s or
2010.
2011, I think.
Maybe.
Well, I was.
Yeah, it was
still
like
in
end of our
school.
primary school.
And I remember we had to reenact the wedding. They made us reenact the wedding, and it was me and this lad. At the front. I just remember thinking it was so weird because I was like 10 or 11 at that time.
We could come in like wedding stuff, but like two girls from my school who were like best friends. One of them came in her mum's wedding dress, and one of them came in her dad's like suit, and they just like walked around together, like, and she'd like slicked her hair back and stuff. It was really cute.
I love that.
Like that was cute because they were best friends and they wanted to do that.
Yeah.
They hadn't been like
I have a
forced
very
to do
similar
it.
experience to you, Raya. It wasn't about the wedding, but our year 6 final like play was Robin Hood, and I was made Marion.
Nice.
And this guy at the time was obviously Robin Hood, and I remember because obviously they're together, they get married, and I remember being like, "I'm not kissing him."
I refuse.
I
Disgusting.
refuse. I'm not kissing him. And then I remember everyone making such a big deal about it. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. So the teacher had to rewrite it, so I just hugged.
I
was like, I'm
there
not
was
doing it.
literally a girl in my school when we did a play, and it was the same situation. And they kept saying, "Oh, you've got to kiss him. You've got to kiss him," because it was again the teachers shipping these two kids together, right? Which, first of all, is disgustingly heteronormative, and I don't like it. But like also, it was like she didn't want to, and I remember them being like, "Oh, but go on, oh, go," and she was like, "I don't want to kiss him in front of everyone. That's weird." But
That's honestly a bit worrying.
It's not. It's not. I don't think she did in the end. I think they let her not do it, but they were like, "Oh, just a peck on the cheek."
You let her not do it.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, they decided to turn around and go, "No, don't worry, we won't force you. It's fine."
Oh, great.
But I just remember that's so weird. I've just deeped how weird that is. That's really strange.
That's really weird.
Yeah. Right, sexual health.
Follow us at TBH the podcast on Twitter and at tbh.thepodcast on Instagram.
So, leading on from that, we've got another little myth. So, what you do during sex determines how good your sex life is. Did I say that right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I did.
In what set? In like a...
So, like, I think what it means is that if you... Like, I've seen a lot on TikTok recently that if you're not into, like, choking and slaps and, like, that sort of thing, you're frigid, you've got a rubbish sex life.
So vanilla, so boring.
Vanilla, like, you're so boring, like, no.
Yeah. I just
don't like being hit.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the norm is so different now because like it used to be that all of those things were like, oh, that's a bit niche, you know.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, great, but like that's a bit not for me. And now it's like the other way around, that if you don't like that stuff, there's like something wrong with you. And I'm like, just leave people be. Like, just let.
Yeah.
Unless you're shagging them, like, why do you care?
Yeah.
Leave them alone.
It's an excellent point. It really is.
In a nutshell. Leave them in.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, it's like, why is vanilla doesn't equal bad.
No.
No.
We said this earlier. I love vanilla ice cream. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So why-
I love vanilla ice
I thought you were just
cream.
going to go, I love vanilla sex.
Well, it's not bad. It's not...
No, well, you do you.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just feel like...
It's just that whole, like, it goes back to the whole consent thing as well, because especially if boys get into the mentality that the norm sex is hitting, choking, like that sort of, like, extreme, pretty extreme, like, sort of fetish, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't be seen as normal. It should always be, like, proposed in, like, a comfortable,
Yeah.
safe conversation. It shouldn't just be expected.
No.
Because
Yeah, well, like, I see TikToks and stuff and it's like, every girl likes to be choked. And I'm like,
I
don't put your hand around someone's neck
No.
expecting that they're going to want to do that. Like, yeah, they might want to do that, but you ask, like you say, ask them first. And this is what annoys me as well, because people are like, oh, but that's really not sexy, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, firstly, that's not the point. Secondly, you're boring. You're clearly not asking in an interesting way. Do you know what I mean? Like, if your problem is that this person's really boring, okay, if you want to ask them this kind of stuff, if that's what they want to do, ask them in an interesting way. Like, it doesn't have to be really awkward. And some of it does have to be awkward. Like, if you want to ask somebody and get a proper answer out of them, being awkward is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Because it's better
Yeah.
to be awkward than to do something that, you know, they don't want to
makes
do.
someone feel
Or
uncomfortable, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, if you have to
Oh.
ask one awkward question, then, like,
Yeah.
so be it.
Or,
And, like,
like, if
what's
you're
the worst
having
that could
sex, you're
happen? They
mature
say
enough
no.
to get a grip and
Yeah,
talk to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. definitely.
Yeah, and also there are spectrums to, like, everything. So, like, just because people like to do certain things doesn't mean they like to do more
Everything.
extreme versions of that.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
like
Actually,
every
Yeah,
girl
I saw this woman and she, like, I follow her on TikTok, and this guy had this conversation with her, and she's so funny, and she was like, oh yeah, this guy called me vanilla because I wouldn't let
think
him
I was literally
spit in my
about to say
mouth.
this.
But then, like, I let you do da 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 and all this really, like, extreme
Yeah.
stuff. Just because I won't let you spit in my mouth doesn't mean I'm vanilla. And I was like, fair enough. Like, people just put, like you say, put it all into one group. That
And it's not.
whatever they think is kinky, and they think it's all
Yeah.
the same. It's like some people just don't like those things, and it's
Yeah.
like other people find them really distressing. Like. Yeah, one person might like having their hair pulled, another person might be like, it's not my thing, and then another person might be like, that is going to make me have some kind of, like, trauma response because something bad has happened to them where that's happened. Like, just talk to each other. Like, it's not that difficult.
Yeah, and also, why are we judging people so much?
Exactly.
If it doesn't affect your life, why do you care?
Honestly.
Why do you
How
care what
vanilla
I get
or
up
not
to in
vanilla
bed?
someone is? Yeah, like,
Yeah.
why is it anyone else's?
I feel like that
Opinion.
applies to so much at the minute. Like, people just seem to have an opinion about everything. And I'm like, yeah, talk about it, have an opinion, but don't, like, apply it to specific
You don't need
people's
to
lives.
put it on
because-
everyone else.
Exactly, like, get a grip.
Yeah, not everyone wants to hear your opinion all the time.
Yeah.
No.
And that's okay.
That's fine.
That's all right.
Keep it to yourself.
We can all deal with that. Like, so silly.
Pretty good.
I've got another one.
Go on.
We've had this discussion before. I can't remember if we spoke about it on the podcast or not, but pubic hair
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of, like, realm. Like, should it be there? Should it not be there? Like, just
People say it's, like, more hygienic to be
Pandora's
completely
box.
shaved. And we had this discussion of,
Yeah.
like, is it? Because it's not really. Is it?
Well,
We
it
don't know.
protects your, like, it protects your genitals if you have pubic
Yeah.
hair. It's like, why do you have eyelashes? It's not more unhygienic to not have eyelashes, is it? Like,
Well, isn't the eyelashes thing because of sweat? Or am I just throwing that out there?
I think it's like sweat and, like, dust and stuff.
Dirt
It stops
getting
it
in
getting
your
in
eyes.
your
Stuff
eyes.
getting in your eyes.
And that's
Yeah,
the
so,
same. Like, that's what
I
pubic
just
hair's
think
for.
my logic is, if it's there and it keeps growing back, there's a reason it's there.
Yeah, it should be there.
It probably should be there. It's probably your body going, stop shaving me.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm coming back.
I'm meant to be here.
Yeah. Just hair in general, though. Like, why do people have such a... Because I can understand, so, like, if you have a preference about, like, the amount of hair... Because I think that happens, men, women, like, everybody. People have preferences about hair, and that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But, like, it shouldn't be... It's
deal
when
breaker.
people... Yeah, exactly. Like, This is... I'll tell it. It doesn't matter. I was like, this is too personal, but I literally don't care. So, I, like, had slept with somebody, and at the time I had, like, some hair. Like, it was... groomed, should we say? Is that the word?
Groomed.
And then...
I was going to say a really gross thing then.
What were you going to say?
Oh,
I'm not going to say it. Because you're going to leave it in and it's going to be... You can bleep it out. We're bleeping it out. I was going to say a groomed puss.
I'm leaving it in.
I like that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, it was tidy, like, whatever, fine. And I slept with him, and fine. And then I was speaking to him, and we were basically being like, are we going to do that again? Da-da-da. And then when he was about to come round, it was just like, have you shaved? And I was like, whew, okay, we're going to, like, go about this delicately. So I was like, okay. Why? Oh, like, I just prefer it. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, I have, but why are you asking me? Because I was just trying to get to the bottom of, you know, what he was actually trying to say. He was like, I just prefer it without, like, it's a bit grim. And that was when I was like, whoa, okay. So,
and then with you again.
Yeah, well, exactly. So I was just like, so then I was like, okay, so are you saying that last time, like, you managed last time, you managed to get rid of your disgust at my pubic hair last time.
He struggled through.
He struggled.
Yeah, exactly. You managed, and we're having this conversation that it's going to happen again. So clearly it's not that fucking deep. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear.
It's fine,
It's alright, we'll bleep it.
Clearly it's not that deep. So, you know, what are you saying? Oh, don't put words in my mouth, all this.
I hate that.
So I just
Your
said,
hate when
it's...
boys do
Excuse me?
that.
Yeah, I was just like, right, okay.
I just think...
The word
Just with-
grim is
It's
so
disgusting.
Well, that's
horrible.
the thing.
It's
Because
nasty.
as soon as he said that, I was like, okay, so this is a thing about him being a horrible person.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about a preference anymore. And also, we
Yeah.
weren't on that level. Like, it wasn't, you know, if I...
It's not like you were
maybe-
besties.
No, like, it's not like I'm gonna... Like, if I've been
Besties.
seeing somebody for a long time or something, and I might say to them, oh, what do you like?
Yeah.
If I ask you that, that's fine, because I'm doing that because I want to do that, because that's your preference. But don't come to me and start...
And say it's grim?
And also, he had hair, so do you want
Then
me to...
why is he allowed to
are
be
you going to
rich?
wax your balls, like, before you come round? No, I didn't think so. So, cut, like, pipe down.
Nah, I'd be
I just
fuming
think men, but actually not men, boys,
Boys.
have too many opinions on what girls do and don't do with their body.
Yeah.
Like, you are a man, you keep your opinions about your man stuff to you. And
Yeah.
I'm a woman, and I will do and not do whatever I bloody want. You can't have an opinion, mate, so keep out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're completely right.
don't... I just think, like, at the end of the day, it's my body, and I'm not telling you to shave your left eyebrow off because I think
Exactly.
it's disgusting.
Yeah. And also,
No, so
if you
don't
want to have
you
sex
tell
with
me.
me, if you want to have sex with me, like, clearly, why is that the biggest problem? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I think
Like, why is that
It's
a
the whole
stumbling block?
stigma. it's the
Yeah,
whole
why is that the
hygiene
one
stigma
thing where
though,
you're like,
isn't
oh
it?
no, I can't.
Yeah.
Because I think
Yeah.
it's been drilled in that having pubic hair down below is unhygienic. And so uneducated people will be like, oh, that's really unhygienic, it's really quite disgusting. That's the only way I can kind of understand their viewpoint.
Point of view. Yeah.
Yeah,
But at the
I'm
same
just like,
time, these are the people that probably don't wash their penises.
Yeah, probably have chunky cheese.
Let's be honest, these are the people that... Because, like, have you seen those TikToks where women have
Yes.
been like, have you washed your arse? And they're like, what do you mean? I just let the water, like, run.
Yes!
I'm like, what do you mean?
You've never actually
Oh my God.
washed your arse.
I don't know if you've seen
That's
this, and I can't
disgusting.
remember the show,
Rhea's never seen that.
but there's this show, and I'm pretty sure it's based in the UK, and it's like some sort of sexual
I
health
know what you're going
clinic,
to talk
and this
about.
guy went
Yes.
in, and he was like, oh, my penis is really hurting, like it's stinging, like I can't move it. And she was like, oh my God, you've got so much build-up. And basically, he had never pulled his foreskin all the way back and cleaned it properly. And he'd had sex with like over 20 people. And that is 20 people's worth of penis cheese locked in his penis.
No.
Wash, please.
Yeah.
Wash.
Horrible. Oh.
Jesus. That
The
is
smell.
extreme.
The smell.
But also, I do
disgusting.
wonder, on like a side note, I wonder why people take those problems onto TV.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Disgusting.
I've been like looking to like get over this fear that I have to bring this problem to a doctor for over 10 years. But
So I'm
now,
going on national
instead of going to my
television.
GP, I'll go on TV.
Yeah. And also, with that guy specifically, right? So if he's having sex with 20 people, surely a few of them
Would
you
go
would express some
stinks.
concern.
Yeah, if somebody got that out, I'd be like, whoa.
That is a funky penis.
Yeah.
Whoa.
God.
No, that's
Oh, I feel
actually disgusting.
Maybe be like,
Really now.
have you...
Nice Friday afternoon chat.
How do you not know? How do you not know that that's there?
Oh, I don't know.
How do you not know?
Yeah.
That's
How
such
do
a
you not?
crime.
But it's so, I don't understand, like, going back to what you said about, like, oh, I just let the water, like,
Yeah.
you just, what, so you spread your cheeks and stand there, but you're not comfortable with washing your own?
Washing your arse. I don't think they even spread though. They just stand there and expect it to work.
And hope
like,
it goes down.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
That's really upset me.
Imagine.
Clean your ass, please.
Oh,
Please.
God.
Oh.
Great.
Well,
Wow.
and,
Wow,
and they
that
think
was
there's
nice.
and they think there's an issue with a bit of hair.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, hon.
All
Oh my
right.
God, no! This is where I'm going to bring my story up from before that I was laughing at.
Oh god, okay.
So, you know what's coming. So this is so TMI, and I'm really embarrassed that I'm saying this, but like, who cares?
Okay.
So for a very long time, I genuinely thought I was like part beast, because I was like, there is so much hair, like what is going on? And I was watching TikTok, and it was a girl talking about how she shaves her asshole, and I was like, oh my God, it's not just me!
Somebody!
Because I was convinced that I was the only female in the world to have
No,
asshole
I know
hair.
loads of people that do that.
Well, maybe not asshole hair, but like ass hair.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not even the fact that it was like you thought you were the only person that shaved. You thought you were the only person with a hairy arsehole. That's what
Yeah,
you thought.
literally. I was like, it's only me. I'm a beast. I'm a hot animal. This is so weird. And I was like, I'm
Something
not going
wrong
to look
with
it up.
me.
Like, I
No.
don't really need to be delving into that. But then, yeah, this girl was talking about it on TikTok, and I was like, thank God.
Is that
Angel.
not? Is that not really like going back to our point before of like we should really have better education on people's
Yeah.
bodies
Yeah.
It really should.
and like
What is normal?
You learnt that on TikTok. So when you were like
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
Great.
You were like,
don't bait her out like this.
That's not bad on you. That's bad on like education.
yeah, it shouldn't take that long to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, it really.
Yeah,
to be
well,
You
fair,
have to learn
because-
from TikTok.
This people don't talk about stuff like that,
No.
which is like pretty normal. Like, I'm not expecting people to be talking about their grooming regime, but it's something that like is a taboo topic. and
Yeah.
it was like quite comforting to know that I wasn't the only person.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
really
it
making
is.
out like I have like a beast in between my arse cheeks. I really don't. Like, I'm not saying that at all.
No, we know what you mean. It's okay.
Okay, good. Just wanted to clear that up.
Amazing. I love that.
Oh god.
Have
Have we got any more myths?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got loads. Sorry, I'm just laughing. If you're aroused, you shouldn't need lubricant.
Oh, I hate that one.
Mm.
And then when people are like, real men don't need lubricant, I'm like, why are you getting so
shut
het up about it? Like,
Yeah.
it's just,
Like,
you know, if you want to use
I don't
it,
want
go-
thrush.
go for it. Yeah.
I don't want thrush. Bring it on.
Yeah. But there's some lubes though that can give you thrush really badly.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Anything with glycerin is like not. It's basically like
Yeah,
sugar.
I was going to say,
It's
I
not
think
good.
water-based ones are better.
Yes.
Because they don't break
And
down
then
the
they don't-
condom either.
Yes.
Are you proud
Yeah.
of
Look
me?
at
Don't
us with all the
like
knowledge.
Water-based lubricants. Do you know what I really don't like? Only because I think this could either be, I don't know, but like using food items as lubricants. I've always
Yeah.
thought that's a bit of an odd thing to do.
Wait, do people do that?
Yeah,
I
people
did
do
not
that.
know people did that.
Like
I've
what?
heard like people use olive oil. I've heard people use like creams, like
Yeah, that is not a good.
stuff
sure
where you
about
just
that.
like you're going to get thrush.
Yeah.
You're going to get a yeast infection.
Literally.
And that is gonna hurt.
Yeah. It's not worth
Ooh,
it.
no.
No.
That's not nice.
No.
Olive oil. What?
That's not
Olive
worth
oil.
it.
It's
No.
slippery, to be fair.
I can
It's
understand
slippery,
the
but-
logic, but like,
Mm.
you can buy lube in Tesco. It's not.
Yeah,
If
like
you
it's
can,
not.
if you
Yeah.
can get
Buy
some
the
olive oil
olive
from
oil.
Tesco, yeah, go to the next aisle and get some lube.
It's not like lube's really hard to come by.
No.
Mm.
No.
I think there's too much embarrassment surrounding buying
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And I think
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I remember I was where I used to work at Sainsbury's over like summer and stuff, and there was this girl who must have been like 16, and she came over, and I remember she was like holding this packet of condoms, but like really like to her chest, just to herself, and
Oh.
didn't put it on the belt, and then sort of like handed it to me like a deal or something, and then, I put them through, and I just remember thinking like, don't make her feel awkward, and I was just like very trying to like soothe. But like I just remember thinking like, she obviously good on her getting protection at 16, definitely.
Yeah.
But I just remember thinking like, why should she have to feel really uncomfortable buying stuff like
Yeah.
But that's the
that?
thing.
No.
Some people will feel so uncomfortable that they just wouldn't buy them,
Exactly.
and then you just are giving that problem, like you're just making that problem so much worse.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I know, I just remember thinking like, that's really shit that she feels like good on her, but also like, oh, like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's such a shame.
It
Yeah.
is a shame, isn't it?
mm.
Oh.
Because I think anything to do with sex in the supermarket is seen as like a taboo thing. Like I
Sex
remember
in the supermarket. That's like a
no, I don't mean
spin-off.
sex in the supermarket, but like the sex stuff in the supermarket. Like whenever you go into that section, like everyone knows what I'm talking about. Like when you're in like the deodorant and then you walk
Yeah.
past it and
Yeah.
you see the condoms,
Yeah.
and like if you hover over that section, I swear to God, if you're not just walking straight past it, you are going to get a death stare from a Karen or
Yeah.
a Dave down the aisle who is buying their Herbal Essence shampoo,
Yeah.
and you have to just keep walking
Mm.
if you don't just, yeah, it depends if you care or not, but it's an intense environment.
Experience.
It is.
You're just doing
It
your
is.
weekly
You,
shopping.
know, you feel like everyone's watching you, you're like,
Yeah.
just let me buy it.
It is
Again,
all-
people judging. Why?
Mm,
Why?
why?
Why do you
Yeah.
care?
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
people will judge other people for not using condoms and saying that they're really stupid. Obviously, I'm coming from a very hetero perspective.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they'll be like, that's really stupid, you're going to get pregnant, da 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 da.
Yeah.
But then if you buy them, there's like, oh my god, they're having sex. And I'm like, what do you
Yeah,
want?
it's
What do you
like,
want from me?
Yeah.
Like obviously.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a young girl. We do have sex.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think that's the thing, is that everyone's like, oh, you have sex? It's like, yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah. That's never directed at men, though, is it?
No.
People are never shocked when, like, 16-year-old
No.
boys are like, yeah.
Yeah,
then
their
that
dads
brings
will
up
give
a
them
thing.
one for like their wallet.
Yeah,
that's
Which
weird.
is fine, like that's good, you know, you're giving
Yeah, great.
But yeah,
your
but
child,
like,
but you don't give your daughters condoms.
No. If you're going to do it for
And
a
then
boy,
it's-
do it for a girl.
Yeah, it's that whole thing then of though like, oh, that really weird masculinity type thing that is like pushed on dads that they shouldn't let their daughters do certain things, but then
Yeah.
their sons should like go and, you know, go get
I
a
hate
girlfriend
that.
and all this
That's
kind of
what they
That's
want.
one of
rubbish.
those, like, stereotype things that really, really grates on me.
yeah.
because
Is
there's
when
so
people are
much
like,
wrong with
"Oh,
it.
My dad
Like,
won't
yeah.
let me. And I'm like, what? What do you mean?
In so many different ways. Like, firstly, you're just assuming that everyone's straight. Also, when you're like, why aren't you just saying to your child, you know, you need to be safe and this is how you can be safe and I will support you and all this kind of stuff, rather than just saying, if you do this, then I will, like,
Yeah.
kick you out or that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
And that
You're
goes
not-
into so many things, which is a whole different debate, because I've said this in other episodes. There is not one sentence that boils my blood more than my boyfriend said I can't.
no. If your boyfriend said you can't, you're not his girlfriend anymore. Or his
No.
boyfriend.
It makes me so or like, oh no, he won't let me. And I'm like, what do you mean he won't let you? Are you on like a leash? I don't know
Yeah.
what you mean.
Is he your dad? No. So,
Yeah.
No.
Even if he was, like,
but like you're
Like,
not
do you
you're
know what I
not
mean?
a
Like,
you're not a
your dad-
7-year-old asking your dad if you can go to the park.
no.
Like,
Literally.
you're a grown woman asking your boyfriend if. This is the thing. Like, imagine. Like, I can't imagine even asking somebody. Obviously, I would say to someone like, "Oh, do you mind if I do this?" Out of kind of, I'm letting you know that I'm doing this.
Yeah, I'm not asking. I'm kind of
Yeah, I'm just telling you that that's
making
what I'm
you
gonna
aware.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, you know, or like if you'd arranged to spend time with them and you said, "Oh, do you mind if I do this because I need to da da da."
That's
Fine.
different.
But you're not saying, "Oh, am I allowed?" It's when people as well are like,
Am I
"I
allowed?"
don't like what you're wearing.
Ugh.
I don't want you to wear that." And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's not
Or
my
when
favourite
people,
outfit
God,
on
I hate
you.
that.
And you're like,
yeah,
why?
people put pictures up and they're like, "That's really disrespectful to your partner."
Why?
Like, get
No,
a
it's
grip.
not. It's my
No, it's
body, not
not.
theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't own
God.
me.
God.
Yeah.
Like, I just like bore off.
Yeah.
I hate, but that, like, when people say that, like, alarm bells in my head are like, no.
Majorly.
Yeah, I know. It
And
is-
like, I completely understand that it can be done in it's a two-way thing. Like, girls can be quite protective over their boyfriends,
Yeah.
but I think it's different in how they've approached it. So, like, a guy telling a girl she can't wear something is more of a control thing than a girl saying, I don't want you going out with your mates who are going to be going to I don't know, hanging around with certain people because she's worried. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I explained
Yeah.
that well, but, like, I think there's a certain level of control that men think they have over women, and how a woman responds to certain situations is like, it's, I don't know.
I agree
I think
with
it can.
that.
I think it can be different.
Yeah, I think it is situation dependent for sure. Based on like who's going where with who and what they're doing when they
Yeah.
get there, and like, do you know what I mean? But I do think, I think there just is more. It is more common that girls will say my boyfriend won't let me, rather than a boy going
Yeah.
my girlfriend said no. Like,
And there's a
Yeah.
huge difference between being like, oh, that would make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, then
To a,
don't do
you
it.
cannot.
Yeah,
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 Yeah.
you cannot
there's
do
there is a
that.
difference in
Massive
that,
It would
difference.
make I think that's what I was trying to get across.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah,
There's-
because
I think
obviously
there is
you can
it's
say if you're not
different.
happy with something, obviously you can
But
say
you need to
that.
explain why and have a conversation about it then, rather than just
Yeah.
you're not allowed to do that.
yeah, and be open with each other about what it really is, because
Yeah.
why do you think you can tell me what I can and cannot wear?
Yeah,
Or
what
why
do you think's going to happen if I do wear
Yeah.
this, and why do you
Yeah.
think that? And then
Yeah.
that's another conversation that you have to have.
Yeah, and you need to be open about it and just be like, yeah, I'm going to have this conversation with you because you've made this statement. So now we're going to talk it out. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the whole thing of communication as well, because I feel like people
Yeah.
so often say one thing and mean another. I'm not the type of person, if I have an issue with something, I will tell you I have an issue with something and I will tell you what that issue is. Do you know what I mean? And I've spent so much time with people who have, you know, like, think I'm saying something else. So I'll go like, oh no, I don't want to do that. And they're like, oh, but you do then. I'm like, no, because I'm saying I don't.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like open communication is a thing that really needs to be discussed in terms of sexual health and just life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Relationships, life, friendships, everything.
Friendship.
Yeah,
For sure.
everything.
Yeah.
For sure.
You should feel
Yeah.
comfortable at all times, and if you don't, something needs to change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
100%.
Have you
Have you got one last one before we
Yeah.
wrap up?
Menstruation as an ultimate baby barrier.
The whole you can't get pregnant on your period.
Yes.
Wrong.
Yeah, you definitely can.
You are wrong.
Lies.
Sorry.
Just lies.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think as well, like, this is the thing, like, people just, like, because you don't get taught about menstruation either, really, it's this very passive thing that happens to you, or that happens to people who have vaginas, and if you don't have a vagina, then you don't need to care, and if you do have one, then you just have to put up with it, and that's kind of all they tell you. But yeah, they don't go into, oh, just because you're like bleeding doesn't mean that you can't get pregnant. And the whole thing about period sex as well, that does my head in. People kicking off
Yeah.
about that's disgusting and all this kind of stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
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 Well, I told you girls before, but I remember I was at school, and there was this couple from another school, so it's like completely irrelevant to anything. But like, there was a rumour that was like they would only have sex when she was on her period because he didn't want to wear condoms.
But that's what I can't get my head around.
no,
And I was like, that's really weird.
that
I was like, maybe you should
there's so
tell her
much-
that that's not okay.
There's so much.
There's a
lot
lot to
going on
unpack
with that.
there. There's a lot
Yeah.
to...
Yeah.
Lots to unpack.
That's loaded.
Yeah.
I don't think
I've never heard that.
Have you not? Yeah, no, there was
No.
literally, I
An
pictured them in
interesting
my
choice.
mind. Interesting.
Yeah,
choice,
because I always
so-
heard the opposite. That it was like
Oh,
they would never have
really?
sex on their period. Like even
Oh,
like they
no.
just wouldn't do that.
This couple
because
was,
people-
they would only have sex on their period because he didn't like wearing condoms. And he was obviously a fool.
a
because-
fool.
A fool because you can still get pregnant, so...
Yeah.
And you can still catch stuff. Like, it's not
If you
always
can't-
about
Yeah, it doesn't
pregnancy.
make any difference.
If you're so grossed out by a condom, I'm not to say that periods are like something you should be grossed out by, but like having sex with someone while they're bleeding is probably,
Yeah.
you know, arguably less fun than having sex with someone
Yeah.
with a condom on. Would you not agree with that? Do you know what I mean?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Why
it's
was
just
he so bothered by condoms,
condom.
but blood was fine?
I don't
Like,
know,
That
'cause
is
if I'm
fine.
honest, I didn't know them personally, so if I did, I probably would have asked.
Yeah.
But I didn't know them
Yeah.
personally.
Interesting.
So-
Interesting.
Yeah, very
Yeah, that's like
interesting. It was
not a
very
way round
odd.
I've heard it before.
Mm.
Like
So
say,
I
like you
remember it
guys
was
say, it's not
always-
wrong either way. It's
No.
just
Mm.
a different one for me.
I think
Yeah.
with that, it's also to do with like preference and like with like period sex. It's very, if you don't like it, like that's fine.
Yeah,
Like, no one's gonna
it's
force
fine.
you to do it.
Yeah,
Like I'm not forcing you.
yeah. I think it's just like it's another thing where it's a preference. Like it's not wrong that you don't like to do it,
Yeah.
but don't then say that it's inherently disgusting if other people do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
like why?
it's a personal thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like if you don't want to do it, fine. Because there's pros and
Keep
cons
your opinion
to
on
everything.
it to your sex life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because that's the
if
only
you don't
sex
want to have
life you're in
sex on your
control of.
period, exactly, then you don't have to do that. And if you do want to,
Yeah.
and your partner wants to, great. You go have fun. That's all you need to know. Like, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
move on.
Do you know, talking about periods, this hasn't really got anything to do with, like, sex or anything, but there's this girl on TikTok that I actually like. She actually makes me tear up that I'm laughing that much. Like, she does those TikToks where she's like talking about things that, basically what I was talking about earlier, where it's like you thought you were the only one.
Yeah.
And she was like, when you're on your period and it's like you just decide that you're not on it anymore, so you just stop throwing the pad. And I was like, okay, that is so funny.
I've seen those. And it's like when you just decide your period's ended.
Yeah, you've just decided your period's over, so you're not going to wear a tampon or a pad anymore. It's just not there. I just think she's so funny.
Oh, well, that
feel
seems like a good a note as any.
Yeah, as the moral of the story, I feel everybody's different. Don't comment on other people's sex lives. Explore yourself. You do you.
You do you.
Yeah, I think that is it in a nutshell. You do you.
You do you.
Amazing.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us on Instagram at tbh.thepodcast, on Twitter at tbhthepodcast, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all of the places.
We're everywhere.
We're on
Can't get
YouTube
away
on
from
Sundays, so find us on there. Yeah, you can't escape. You're in now.
Here forever.
Yeah, so follow us on all those places. Subscribe, like, don't dislike. It's just a bit nasty.
Lucy, do you want to tell us what your Instagram stuff is?
Oh, yeah. So my uni one is at ULSU_sexual health. I won't have it forever, but I'm hoping to start my own when I finish. That's a little bit of information. So my personal Instagram is just Lucy Dunkerly. It's very unimaginative, but that's my name, so that's where it is.
That's good. They'll all be in the description, so you can find them there as well.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.
Thank you for coming on.
I loved this.
Yeah. Right, we will end our video there, but we'll see you next week.
Bye.
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 Hello, thank you so much for watching, listening to this episode of TBH. All of Lucy's social media links can be found in the description. Ours will also be there too. If you have any more questions or are interested in anything that we've spoken about, Lucy has made a sexual health resource bank, which will be linked in the description of our YouTube video. But if you're listening on Spotify or Brayford, you can also find that over on our social media. We'll tweet out the links, put them on Instagram, all that good stuff. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week.